on this seat for quite a number of years.
Yeah.
And so when he left, that is when we had in the person of Andrew Kofi AJ Mensah. That's the current member of parliament.
Yeah.
He took over from Papa Usa Nkrumah in 2016.
Yeah.
So he won that seat in 2016. And the difference between that seat in 2016 and that of NDC, he managed to get a vote of 16,837.
Yeah.
16,837. And NDC had 11,075. 11,075. When we come to 2020, just last 4 years, he managed to get a vote of 17,000.
Yeah.
17,259.
Yeah.
And then Charles Hagan,
Yes.
who also happens to be the NDC parliamentary candidate, had 10,310.
Okay.
10,310. Renoff, when you take a look at what happened in 2016 to what happened currently that we have in 2024.
Yeah.
So I just want to make a point that in 2016 to 2020,
yeah,
NDC or NPP votes actually appreciated by 1,000 votes.
1,000 votes.
So the question is, what happened?
What happened? That is a very good question.
Yes. What happened to that? It doesn't mean that the honorable member of parliament there is not performing. There is a situation in Sekendi that people are really not aware of.
Probably we will delve into it, and you can even see from what you have actually given that the numbers have a bit reduced in terms of the voter turnout.
Yes, it has. It has. But there's one thing about this constituency. I think yesterday when I listened to some of the voters, even on Friday, they were talking about the aspect of voter apathy. That as you mentioned earlier, sometimes when voters get so acquainted to a particular political party for a while, they'll be like, no, this time around, let's change the party and see what the new party is going to bring onto us. So I think that is the one major cause of this very parliamentary candidate. That is one of the major cause of this very constituency. That's one of the major causes. So we will quickly be moving into the next constituency that we have. That is our producer, if you can display it on the screen for us. That is the Empohor constituency. Yes, US, as you can see on the screen, Empohor constituency too has also been a constituency won by NPP over the years.
Yes.
In 2012, this very constituency, it was known as Empohor Wasa constituency.
Yes.
So in 2012, it was divided to Empohor Wasa and Wasa East constituency. So we had Wasa East constituency from Empohor Wasa East in 2012. Since then, this seat has been an NPP seat for a number of years.
Wow.
But this time around, let's see a surprising vote. This time around, NPP had a vote of 8,299.
Wow.
8,299. And NDC had 11,680. 11,680. And the surprising thing is, the parliamentary candidate for NDC was actually an assembly member.
Oh, assembly member?
Yes, an assembly member.
Wow.
And this man was able to manage
to snatch a seat
from a member of parliament.
It means a lot. I mean,
it means a lot.
So, I mean, what is the? Let me put it this way: what do you think could be the?
So, as I said, sometimes when voters get to know that you've been with them for a while, and actually what they want, you're not giving to them, they try to look elsewhere. Because when I move into this result, you get to know that a big members of or big wings of New Patriotic Party are really falling.
Yes,
they are really falling in 2024 general election. It is actually giving us a new field. So let's get into the next constituency. We can actually put on the screen for us. The next, that is a Asan Central constituency.
Wow, the Kennedy Japan's
constituency. But this time around, he came out to tell us that he's not contesting again. So the seat was actually meant to be taken by any other person who would like to take out. So there was one man who just came out that he wants to contest as member of parliament in the ticket of NPP. But surprisingly, when the results came out, this seat, which has been a seat of the New Patriotic Party,
a very safe seat in the central region,
has been snatched from NPP and now it's with NDC.
Wow.
And when you look at the votes difference, it's around 400 votes. Close to 400, 500 votes. So the issue, people are raising concern, was it because Kennedy Japan was the one standing in that seat. That is why NDC couldn't win.
Yeah, and of course, Ken actually did a lot for the constituency.
Exactly.
So, I mean, he was so glued to the people, and then the people were actually so much for him.
Exactly.
So, for
but really, if Ken was to the people,
yes,
and he done a lot for the people of Asan Central, why didn't Asan Central look at what Kennedy has done for them?
Yes.
At least to give the nod to the NPP parliamentary candidate.
Yes. You see, in this or this election, if you do the calculation well, you will realize that the turnout, the voter turnout, had a whole threshold on this. So I mean, we have to probably delve into, well, when you look at the voter turnout, which means just as we're talking about the voter apathy, it's a major concern.
Yes.
Which means people did not probably go out to vote.
Exactly.
And then, I mean, wherever we as Clock TV, most of the places you realize the voter turnout as at even 3 p.m. where, I mean, people were about 50%, 50-something%. It means the apathy was so high.
Yes. But so the question is, what will make voters not go out to vote?
Okay.
There's one thing I have come to understand, in especially studying or following this 2024 general election. There's one thing I've come to understand, and what it means that, you see, voters are now, let me use the word, we are changing from our old means.
Yeah.
We are changing from our old means. You see, over the years, we are addicted to a political party. But this time around, Ghanaians are wise.
Oh, yes, of course.
And any political party that comes to power and is unable to fulfill what Ghanaians want, trust me, we will kick the person out.
Yes.
Because this 2024 general election has proved a lot.
Yeah.
And politicians should learn from this. That if you come and you don't do anything for us, no matter your name, no matter the time you spent in the parliament house, we will still kick you out.
Yes.
Yes, and personally, I'm so happy for this kind of result.
Okay, so you see, you can see that this election actually makes us understand that it seems the people who were voted earlier, or were let me put it this way, the members of parliament who were actually those in charge, they were probably disconnected. I mean, probably disconnected from the people. We are looking at actually turning out. You realize that, I mean, there's kind of disconnection which has affected them in this very elections.
That's very true. But Renoff, let's get into another constituency in the Western region.
Okay.
Yes. There's Kwesimintim constituency in the Western region.
Yes.
You see, Western region has been a swing region, but
yes,
always is dominated by NPP.
Okay.
But this time around, per the results we've gotten so far, you could see that 3 seats in the Western region has been snatched from NPP to NDC.
Wow.
Kwesimintim is one, and Poho is another one.
Yes.
We have that of the second one we talked about. So currently, NDC has snatched 3 seats from Western region. So this very member of parliament, he is, I think, the deputy minister for Ministry of Works and Housing.
Okay.
Yes, Honorable Prince.
Okay, just
Honorable
here.
Prince, just here. Yes, just here. And he has lost his seat to the NDC parliamentary candidate. Parliamentary 13,176.
Okay.
13,176. And NDC parliamentary candidate 15,801. Wow. 15,801. Let's get into the next one.
Which means when you go to the Western region, NDC did so well by snatching some kind of a seat, which are, I mean, mostly dominated, or places which are dominated by NPP, or NPP seat that NPP for so many times or long. Okay.
Exactly. And obviously, one thing I would say concerning the Western region is of the fact that, you see, the government, ruling government, promised Western region of 3 main things wanted to do for them. The market circle, Takrady market circle, the Takrady interchange, and I think one other thing that he wanted to do for the people of Western region. But as we speak now, he has not completed any of the projects.
So they started, but they haven't completed it.
And you see, one funny thing, before I go to the next one, was, I think, it's also annoying the people of Western region for him to commission his own statue once he has not completed.
I mean, that was actually something that went so viral. It actually went viral, and I think the effect of it actually, I mean, I realized even in most of the videos that were circulating, was it that I mean, people even wanted to pull it down, which, I mean, it was something you realize that people didn't like. But then I think our leaders should take a cue from it.
Exactly. You see, last time in a conversation that the commission, the commission of things in this short possible time
that's
might
true.
affect government.
And in fact, you see that it's really did.
Yes, it has affected them. But let's go to Ekwapim South constituency.
Okay.
I know you have a history for Ekwapim.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but this time around, Ekwapim South constituency has been snatched from the NPP and is now with the NDC.
Wow.
So NPP had 15,304. 15,304. And NDC had 15,438.
These are very few margins.
Very few margin. But, Randolph, give us a history about the Ekwapim South constituency.
Wow. So, Ekwapim is actually one of NPP's strongholds.
Yeah.
And you know, when it comes to the NPP, Eastern region is one of the key regions that actually gives them the presidency and even gives them enough members of parliament.
Yes.
And Ekwapim South is, one of them that has actually supported the party for so many years. Have lost this seat, which is very crucial to them, which means, the election is truly very tricky for the NPPs.
Yes, it's very tricky. And you see, this seat, I think, is the seat of Honorable Katie Hammond.
Yes.
That's Ekwapim South.
Ekwapim South? Oh. No, not Katie Hammond.
This is not Katie Hammond.
No, Katie Hammond is in the region.
In the region.
Yes.
So we get it because Katie Hammond has his seat.
Oh, yes. He did that. Yes, he did.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
So there's Ekwapim South constituency for you. Let's quickly get into the next one. That's the Pru West constituency. And this time around, NPP managed to get 16,606. 16,606.
Yes.
And NDC had 12,671.
Wow.
12,671.
The difference is so, very minute.
Yes.
Not large.
Yes. So there's 4,000 vote difference.
Okay. 16,000. I actually look at the second figures. I realized that I was looking at the 671, but then yes, 4,000. Okay, so this one NPP won.
Yes, NPP won.
Is it an NPP already safe seat that belongs to NPP?
Yes. Let me quickly. I'll quickly get you that information before. So we have the Asante Akim North constituency.
Yes.
So you can see now we are moving into the area of the NPP.
Okay.
NPP. So Asante Akim North constituency. This time around, we have an independent candidate that showed up.
Wow.
In this very constituency. And we have, this is the very constituency of Honorable Apiakubi.
Yes.
Honorable Apiakubi.
Yes.
And he has been one member of parliament who has always been standing for what he sees to be right. I think in the fight for, that is a former finance minister. He was the one champion that, that he should step down. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, he was the one champion that caused that Honorable Finance Minister should step down. So people are asking that, why? Is it because he championed that cause? That is why he has lost his seat? Or there is something more into that?
Yeah.
He managed 8,933. 8,933. And the NDC independent candidate, or parliamentary candidate, had 2,469.
Yes.
2,469. And the independent candidates are 26,956. 26,956.
Wow.
So this is also for Asante Akim North.
Wow.
Now let's move into the Gomwa Central constituency.
Wow.
This
that
Gomwa
is
Central
Gomwa Central.
Yes, Central region.
How are Yakubu's not there?
No, this actually is where we have A+.
Okay.
Oh,
so yes, I learned he won the seat.
Yes, he won the seat.
Oh, wow.
Kwame A+ won the seat at Gomwa Central.
This is serious.
This seat was actually initially handed by the NPP. NPP was one dominating that seat.
Yeah.
But Kwame A+ came in with a magic as independent candidate to snatch the seat from the NPP. So now you could see two independent candidates coming into the 9th parliament.
Yes.
That's another thing we will talk about.
There's a new dynamics in there.
Very new dynamics. So the question is, whom are these going to work with? When parliament, the 9th parliament resumes.
So that is where the lobbying and all the, how do I call it? All the cross-carpeting will start.
But there's nothing new we will see in the house.
Possibly.
Exactly. So the NPP managed to get 10,653 in the constituency. NDC had 9,317.
Yes.
And independent candidates 13,532.
Yeah.
13,532.
Wow.
That's
so that is
Senate,
Kwame A plus won the seat.
Yes.
So
Kwame
he's
A
now,
plus won the seat.
how do I call it? Kwame A plus is now honorable, MP.
Yes, honorable.
Congratulations, Kwame A plus. In fact, you have fought so hard. It's not easy to win a seat in Central Region, honestly.
But you see, history tells us that Kwame A plus has been with the New Patriotic Party.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Yes, he has been with
He's
them.
more aligned. I mean, he's sung,
yes, he has been singing, so especially the era of
for them and all that.
Yes. In the so he has been with them for quite a long time. So people are asking why he decided to go independent.
Yes. You know, so to some extent, it got to a stage where Kwame A plus disagreed on so many issues with the NPP.
Okay.
I mean, where he came out several times, actually lambasting them, saying a whole lot. I mean, of certain things that he felt should have been done well or right, but then the party still insisted in doing it the way they were doing, which actually pushed him into. I mean, and one thing also was that Kwame A plus supported Kennedy Japan.
Okay.
Yes, on record, he supported Kennedy Japan during his contest, the primary contest. So he was one of the key people who was actually moving with Ken and all that.
Yes, because someone would say because Ken is from the Central Region and Kwame A plus is from the Central Region, so automatically you go for his own. But true. we still want to say is the 20 seats that NDC want to claim in Central Region, is it really going to happen?
Okay, we'll get there.
The next section, yes. So there's the Upper Dentra West constituency, also in the Central Region, Upper Dentra West constituency. Okay. And when you go to Upper Dentra West constituency, NPP had a total of 18,918. 18,918. And NDC getting a vote of 30,249. 249. So this currently the seat is also for NDC per the provisional results we have. Okay. Provisional results. So let's go to Upper West Akim constituency.
Okay.
Upper West Akim constituency.
That is in the Eastern Region.
Yes, Upper West Akim constituency. We have NPP getting 15,711.
Okay.
15,711. NDC 22,759.
Okay.
22,759. This time around, NDC have the seat that is with a huge margin of almost I'm getting to almost 10,000 votes difference. Almost 10,000 votes difference. So this is the Wasa East constituency. You see, I was talking in connection to Mpaho constituency. Yes. Way back Mpaho East constituency.
That is the central western region. Yeah.
And in 2012, it was actually demarcated. So Wasa East constituency has its own district and everything. So in Wasa East constituency, the current member of parliament that is known as the Honorable Isaac J. Mensah, he has been MP since the creation of this constituency. Wow. Way back 2012.
Wow.
So he has been an MP.
And it's been snatched. And it has been snatched by NDC.
Oh, no. He is on the ticket of NDC.
Oh, he is, okay. So he maintained,
Yeah, he has been maintained. So this is fourth term going into the parliament house. Okay. And especially in the era of John Mahama, his first run, he was actually the deputy minister for roads. Okay. Yes. Honorable Isaac J. Mensah. Okay. So NPP candidate was known as Honorable Mona. Okay. Mona was actually the deputy minister for CODA, Coastal Development Authority. Yeah. So wanted to get a vote 1,171. Wow. And Honorable Isaac J. Mensah had 20,138. 20,138. We will bring you the history of all this constituency moving forward. Okay.
But before you even proceed, you can see that in most of actually the seats that had ministers and deputy ministers, some of them lost their seat. Yes. When you have your government in power, you have all the machinery, you also have all the resources available, and then most of the times what the sitting government does is that they are able to invest so much in the constituencies in which they have MPs. I mean, and still they were able to lost in these constituencies. What could be the reason?
So there is a broader effect of this 2024 general election. Okay. And I think this is a lesson to all the political parties. Okay. That you shouldn't trust much in yourself. Yeah. Don't trust, you think that, oh, these people, when I go to the day of election, they will give me the nod. Okay. No. Just do what you are supposed to do. Yes. I trust the people they'll give you the nod the next time.
That's true.
So, Renoff, that is the cause of people losing their seats and certain members of parliament losing it. It is because of all these things.
Okay.
They wait till a day or the week to election and they try to do whatever they want to do. Yes. And you see, it is off record that we are yet to confirm from the College Center of Ayawaso West. People were giving us information that it's keenly contested by John Dumelo.
Okay.
And it's likely that he might win the seat. But so now we've not confirmed, so we can't give that.
Yes, so I mean, for provisional result that I've seen, I mean, there's also the kind of communication gap in there.
Exactly. So currently, this part of Western Region seats that has been won by NDC. So currently, let's say, per what we have, 4 seats for NDC in the Western region. Exactly.
A Sikado constituency.
Just a Sikado constituency, and you saw that a Sikado Katan constituency is also in the Western region.
Wow.
This constituency is actually the constituency of Honorable.
Okay.
Yes. Honorable Joe Gate.
The Big Joe.
The Big Joe. He ran NPP primary. Presidential. Currently, I think he's the board for Ghana Revenue Authority. He's the board chairman.
Yes,
he's the board chairman, and also I will know he's a lawyer too.
Of course, the big Joe.
The Big Joe, and even the contest between Afenyomark and the Speaker of Parliament, he was actually sitting on the case in place of Afenyomark. So actually, in 2024 election, he said he's not going again.
Yeah. I mean, he has served for so many years. And one thing we also have to look at with a politician is that, I mean, when you serve to a certain stage, I mean, you should be able to bow out and make somebody else come in. Because there are some people who have probably been in power or been in a position for so long. Sometimes it's better for you to exit when the club is very high. But then, just like Honorable Joe Gate did, I mean, you go to a stage, you realize he has served for so long, he has to move to a next stage in life. But then some will remain for so many years, and then, unfortunately, they get defeated. And that defeat is actually very painful to actually exiting. I mean, let's go on.
Yes, it's very, very painful. So, and on records, we know current member of parliament, a lot of them actually resigned or they decided not to go again.
Yes.
In the likes of Honorable Osei Chairman.
Yes, of course. The speaker, former majority leader. Yes, and that is the right thing to do. Exactly. Sometimes you are human. Your ideas, you can't be serving for 20-something years with not having a successor. Exactly. Sometimes we must be able to train and then nurture or groom people who can take over our leadership. But then if we're able to lead for, I mean, 20-something years whereby you have not built anybody who is able to, I mean, succeed you, and you still want to go for about 16 years and, I mean, 20-something years for some time. I mean, you will be fed up. People will be fed up of you, and then they will just vote against the party.
A high number of people who actually decided not to go again.
And that's good.
Also, the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, he also decided not to go again. That is Joe Wise.
Yes.
Not to run again.
Yes, that's good. Because also, I mean, since Kufuor's time.
Exactly. Exactly. So, let's get into this very constituency. So, when Honorable Joe Gate decided not to run again, there is one man who's known as Charles Bisu. Junior Charles Bisu. You know of Charles Bisu.
The junior.
Yeah, the junior Charles Bisu. Also decided to contest the Honorable, that is Dr. Grace Ayensu. Dr. Grace Ayensu. So he decided to contest Dr. Grace Ayensu. Dr. Grace Ayensu actually contested Joe Gate in 2020 election.
And won.
And it was very
it was very tight.
It was very tight. It was very tight. But this time around, he's contesting Charles Bisu, and he has won Charles Bisu by a margin of almost 9,000.
That is huge.
Very huge. This seat is also has been snatched from NPP to NDC side in the Western region.
So NDC have so far how many? About 5 or 6?
About five recorded seats in the Western region. In the Western region, about 5 of them. So actually, Western region is gradually turning into a green region. Very green region. So this is Ayawaso Central constituency. And so NPP parliamentary candidates had 23,345.
That is the
the Interior Minister, Honorable Henry Korte. Yes,
another big man there.
Another big man in NPP.
That is a big blow.
Yes, 23,345. And the NDC parliamentary candidates had 29,755. 29,755. So at the end of the polls, Honorable was defeated.
Wow.
He was defeated. Interior Minister was defeated by the NDC parliamentary candidates. And people are asking the question that, why are the big men falling?
But then, when it comes to Ayawaso Central,
yes,
I think it's been captured by NPP for a very long time.
Very long time. Very long time.
So what could constitute this? Because it's actually in the center of Accra. That is from Circle going in terms of, I mean, from all the Joy FM area. I think even this place is part of Ayawaso.
No,
So,
this area is not part of Ayawaso.
Okay.
This
So
area is that's the
Klote. So
yes.
I mean, so for, the Ayawaso is from the Circle area going and all that.
New town.
Wow. Yes.
So unfortunately, he lost his.
And I mean, he's been a minister, and then I mean, he has been a regional minister for some time as well, and he's also been an interior minister. He's actually been an MP for a very long time as well.
Yes. So people were asking that, was it because he closed the borders a day to election? That's why he lost the election.
Oh no, that is constitutional. For the borders issue, it is constitutional. Before we go to pool, every time we are about going to pool, in order to actually prevent people, Ghanaians, into our pools, I mean, it's actually part of the security measures to, I mean, protect the rights of Ghanaians as the only people who are able to actually cast votes and be able to get the presidency and the parliamentary, I mean, representative of the country. So it is mandated by the government, and I mean, to be able to close pools. We'll go for a very short break, and then we'll return with more, of facts that we have here. Hello, good morning once again, and you are welcome to Pool Watch on Clock TV. We are actually here exploring voter turnout and then exploring whatever happened in our pools that we had as a country. I'm here with my brother, Yaban Kwe. We are actually exploring to understand the future and then what this actually means to the future of the country. So, my brother, we are back from the break.
Yes, we are. We are going back to our provisional results, that's parliamentary provisional results. This is actually about who joins the 9th parliament.
Okay.
Yes. Are we going to see people exiting?
Yes.
And people actually joining?
Of course.
That's the question we want to ask.
That is the democracy we have chosen.
Exactly, that's the democracy we have chosen. And surprisingly, there's the Adanse Asokwa constituency.
That is K.T. Hammond's constituency.
And surprisingly, when you look at the votes here, he managed to get 13,109. Yeah. 13,109. And NDC parliamentary candidate had 13,819. Wow. 13,890. So the difference is just around 700.
Yeah.
700. And it's surprising that K.T. Hammond of all, this time around have lost the Adanse Asokwa.
And he has held on this constituency for a very long time.
Very long time. So, let's take viewers into some few statistics on this very constituency.
Let's go.
Way back 2012, K.T. Hammond's parliamentary candidate and still won by a vote of 15,796.
That is huge.
Very huge. 15,796. And as against NDC parliamentary candidates, that is 14,157. 14,157. When we move into the current one in 2016, in 2016 actually, NPP K.T. Hammond had 16,459. 16,459. And NDC parliamentary candidates had 12,389. 12,389. From that, the vote difference was 4,000. The vote difference was actually 4,000. But Renoff, the surprising thing is in 2020.
Okay.
In 2020, Katie Hammond managed to get a vote of 18,000. So you could say that the vote of Katie Hammond has been appreciated.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Every 4 years it appreciates. Yes. Every 4 years it appreciates. So
and now the gap has bridged up to, I mean, it has actually come down. NDC has been able to come down to 13,819.
Yes, but let's look at the vote difference.
Yes.
In 2020 election last year, Katie Hammond had 18,355.
Okay.
And the NDC parliamentary candidates had 12,038.
Wow.
12,030. So Katie Hammond actually beat the NDC candidate by 6,000 votes.
So what could happen?
What could happen? That is the question. What could happen? Because if, as at last 4 years, you won this seat by a margin of almost 6,000 votes, then what could happen for you to lose this time around by a vote difference of just 700?
It also means the NDC has done so much.
Yes, and 2012 election as compared to 2020 election as compared to 2024.
Yes.
Their votes appreciated by closely 1,050.
Yeah.
Closely 1,050. That is when their votes appreciated.
Okay.
But you see, one thing is the voter turnout was very low.
And anytime, if you look at the statistics or the previous elections, see clearly that anytime NPP there is a low voter turnout, the NPP lose elections.
Really?
Yes, because you realize that in during President Kufuor's era, when he was hesitating, when President Kufuor was hesitating in 2008, when he had done with his term, and he was actually hesitating. During that period, the voter turnout, there was actually that was the reason why we had that second round.
Yes.
There was a huge kind of voter apathy, which affected the numbers. The voter turnout was very drastically reduced. Yes. So it only appreciated a bit in some percentage, about 4%, when we went to the second round.
Yes, and that very year also brought a lot of history in Ghana.
Yes, of course.
Because the first runoff, it was Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo who was the one leading.
Yes.
In the first runoff.
Of course.
But in the second runoff, Professor Ivan Swifi Atalos came to but a margin of I think 2%.
Yeah, about 20. That was the second round was about 25,000 votes.
Yes, yes. So you could say that. So is it likely for it to happen in 2024 election?
2024 election.
Yes.
I mean, we are here together.
We are here together. So we are actually doing
DC is here to, especially now the NDC is actually losing the parliamentary. We can see clearly per the provisional results.
Yes, per provisional results, NPP is losing the parliamentary.
Yes.
So even if they should get the president elect from the NPP,
it will be
government
difficult.
business will be a big problem for them.
I mean, even now that we have a hanged parliament,
it's not
the party is actually having a lot of challenges, to the extent that a lot of parliamentary businesses has been halted at the moment due to the numbers and those hitches that they are having with the Speaker of Parliament and the minority side. So if NPP is even supposed to win the presidency, I mean, it's going to be a big blow.
It's going to be a big blow.
Yeah.
But before I get to the next one, we just got information from our research desk that Honorable Ursula Owusu has fallen.
That is true. Per the provisional results, of course, we have.
Honorable Ursula Owusu has
no, I think it's been declared. The EC have actually declared. Well, I had an interview of the candidate.
It's surprising that someone like Honorable Ursula Owusu that we know has fallen.
Yes.
Honorable Henry Kote has fallen. Katie Hammond of Alto has fallen.
Yes.
So these big three are down.
In fact, let me even, before you even proceed, let me go through some few information I have here. And then I've been informed that Akosia Menu of Adenta constituency. I mean, these are the people, some of the popular people we know in the political landscape. Yes. It's been, the seat is also lost. I mean, to NDC is actually holding already.
That Adenta does not repeat MP. This time around, they've repeated an MP.
I mean, yes, they've repeated for the first time. Yes, of course. Ramadan is now there.
But this time around, Ramadan has
has maintained. I mean, that's also historical. I mean, and the Akwa Newman Okankwe, I mean, has also lost her seat. The results we've had. Hawa Kumsin, Wutu Senya West constituency is also no more. And then Ejapa Mesa, as you said, second D is also no more. TK Hammond, Adanse Asokwa is also no more there as an MP.
It's all per the provisional results.
Per the provisional results we have. Yes. And then Honorable Esla Owusu Ekufu at the Ablekuma West constituency is also not there anymore as an MP. Frank Anodompre in Sanwem is also not.
Wait. That's very shocking.
That's shocking. Yes, that is true.
That is the deputy majority leader.
Of course. I mean, per the information I've received so far.
Because has been NPP seats for quite long.
Of very long time, and then I'm actually surprised. And
oh wow! I'm so much interested in that seat. I'll actually go get a lot of information. So, we educate viewers.
Frank Anodompre, that is in Sanwem, is also not there. George Mrekuduka. Takwa is also not there. Lydia Ahassan, Ayawaso West Wogon.
I think, Reno, you will continue, but let's look at a seat like the Okakwe South.
Yes.
I think Okakwe South, right? That's the Akoniman seat.
Yes.
Okakwe North, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you say that seat over some months ago, I used to pass there whenever I'm coming to work. And how the other parliamentary candidates or aspirants, that is Kion, how he has invested in that seat, because we've known that place to be NPP stronghold.
Yes, of course.
The former MP is currently I think the Chief Executive Officer for STC. Yes, he was then also the Minister for Employment and Labor Relations. So it has been NPP seat for over quite a long time. So Kion actually taking over that seat is really a history, and we must say that this very election has brought a lot of history. This is to tell our parliamentary candidate or our member of parliament that when you make voters to make you exactly.
But one thing I noticed was that in all these, some of these parliamentarians, you can notice that they have actually worked so hard in most of their constituencies. But then one very thing that is actually, in line with most of them is that even though they are working, but then their presence wasn't well felt by their people. I mean, that is what, most of the, interviews that we've granted. When we went on the field yesterday, most people will just tell you that, yes, he has done this, but he really felt presence as a people in the constituency. And that is actually one of the major reasons why, you can feel that this many collapse of the big wings, has come to bear.
So let's get into our provisional results. This is the Afuasi Ajibri constituency. And the NPP managed to get a vote of 18,601. 18,601, and NDC had 13,415. 13,415.
And
still this seat has been with NPP. And it is still with the New Patriotic Party. Yes, so
let's come again. That is Ofuase Ayiribi, Minister of Information constituency. That is the Minister of Information. His constituency. The former broadcaster.
So we have the Brekum East constituency.
Yes.
Brekum East constituency.
Is this not Brekum?
Brekum.
Oh, I actually had a chance to work in, the domain, so I know Brekum, that enclave very well.
So
I see.
This seat is currently also, NPP managed to get 14,355. 14,356, sorry. And NDC getting 23,476. 23,476. So this seat is currently with the NDC per our provisional result. This seat to the NDC per our provisional result. So Asan Manso constituency. Asan Manso. NPP had 15,792. 15,792. And NDC had 13,078. 13,078. And this seat is with the New Patriotic Party. Yes, it's with the New Patriotic Party. So let's move to Manson Kwantan constituency. Manson Kwantan constituency. Also NPP getting a vote of 26,684. 26,684. And NDC getting a vote of 9,706. 9,706.
So here the gap is so huge for NPP.
And you've known this seat is for NPP. NPP stronghold.
Of course.
There is nothing.
That is in the eastern region.
There's nothing NDC
that is getting from the. When you get through across enclave, that is where I mean, it is.
Okay. But you see, something interesting is happening at Dome Kwabenya.
Yes.
Very interesting. Before we come to the last one, that is Akim Odam. Something interesting happening at Dome Kwabenya. Dome Kwabenya seats is shaking.
Okay.
Because of the Honorable Adressa for losing the parliamentary to Michael Quay Jr.
Yes.
And currently, it seems that the NDC Member of Parliament might snatch that seat per the results trooping in from the polling stations. But till now, it has not been declared at the coalition center because of issues that's really happened. And I think the producers or the technical team have the video of what's really happened at Kwabenya. Really going to it on the screen. It has been very because I've been monitoring the process, and when you listen or when you take a look at the video, you realize that some number of people were trooping into the coalition center with pink sheets. And we don't know where
pink sheets.
Pink sheets. We don't know where actually they were coming from. And the pink sheet was not in an EC envelope, but rather in a brown envelope. It was under the armpit. So when the issue came up, the NDC people were like, no, we will not allow you to enter the coalition center. And it brought about a lot of issues. So I think the producer will just play that for viewers to get
So producer, really give us the Dome Kwabenya's videos. I mean, this is what happened there. And shouting,
so that's actually the number for the parliamentary candidates for NDC in the picture there, because they believe that what they have actually the seat. So no matter what and the EC officials will do, they can still win that very seat. But the interesting thing that came out this morning as we monitor trend is that the coalition for Dome Kwabenya constituency seat is actually postponed. Yes, it has been halted and be postponed. And I think they will get us that footage too, because I was so shocked to see that they said they've postponed it sake of the issues surrounding it. But I know that the NDC group will not actually understand.
But you see, in situations like this, sometimes it's actually permitted when there are security issues involved, and when they see the scene to be very chaotic, which will actually mark the integrity of the electoral materials. Sometimes the EC has the authority to, and then in collaboration with the party members in terms of the party agents, to be able to store and then make sure things are well put in place before they actually proceed. But then looking at Dome Kwabenya, you know, they have had a lot of issues recently. About a year or so ago with their MP, that is Honorable Adjoa Safo. And it's been a very ding-dong something where Adjoa Safo, traveled for some time, where leaving her seat vacant for some time, and then she actually left the country, leaving her ministry, and it took so many, almost a year or so, because a lot of people and her constituency was actually left vacant, and then the people was just, waiting for her to return, and it became a serious issue in the country. In fact, people were actually at the time calling the president just take her out to be able to, in terms of her ministry. At that time, she was the gender ministry, minister for gender, where she actually left the ministry for some time. So it became an indictment on the constituency, where it brought a very bad press to the constituency. I don't know if, so in actual fact, she actually didn't contest. I think she contested and lost the election. The primaries too.
Yes, but you see, there was something unique about Adjoa Safo when he was actually the member of parliament. For Dome Kwabenya. And what happened was that Adjoa Safo was always supported by Honorable Kennedy Japan. In 2020 election, it took the Kennedy Japan for Adjoa Safo to win that constituency. And over the years, that has been the pattern. Always, Honorable Kennedy Japan comes to support Adjoa Safo to win that very constituency. But this time around, the support of Kennedy Japan is not there. And the support of Adjoa Safo is not there. So Professor Michael Quay Jr. has to fight. He needs to fight the battle himself. And you see, when you go to there was another game also in Dome Kwabenya where Adwoa Safo's father played a very pivotal role in the election of Adwoa Safo.
Yeah.
That is the Sofo Kantaka.
Yes, of course.
The founder of Christo Asafo. Yeah. When you go to Dominic Kwabenya constituency, the Christo Asafo Church is all over Dominic Kwabenya.
Okay.
So if not, the members of Christo Asafo have that love for Adwoa Safo.
So the religious dynamics
also played a critical role in this very election. So since Adwoa Safo is not there, all these things that were supporting NPP to win that seat is no more.
Okay.
And because NPP has always been on that seat for quite a number of years.
Yes, yeah.
The people of WKBN was like, no, let's get a change.
Yeah.
Let's give it to a new candidate and a new party, and let's see what they are going to do.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened in Sekendi.
Okay.
The same thing happened also in Kwesiminti.
Yeah. And
the same thing has happened in Isikado Katen.
Okay.
So you could say that the dynamics in 2024 election is trying to tell the politicians that we are not always stagnant to a political party.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So immediately you try not to give what the members of your constituents want, actually they will take you off the scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is really the happenings in Dominic Kwabenya.
Okay.
But there was another video too at Ayawaso West Wogo.
Okay.
When the parliamentary candidate elect was actually declared by the EC officer of that very constituency.
Ayawaso West Wogo.
Yes, Ayawaso West. Yes, Ayawaso Central.
Okay, Central.
Yes.
Okay.
When he was actually declared by the EC official, he actually spoke to the people of Ayawaso Central.
Okay.
He gave his word. He gave his word of assurance to them because it was so shocking.
Okay.
People were not expecting that, but he was able to fight a good fight. So that's what you can see on the screen.
Okay.
Yes.
So give us sound and then let's hear what they are saying.
For you to come from there for the second time. We did it. And obviously, when we have a good team already, things are moving. This year, the guys are one for the rest of it. We are going to do something different now. Most of the people in the network of Ayawaso Center expect from you as their leader. You are going to find somebody who is special. Somebody who is excellent. Somebody who is going to take a place. We're going to just together with them. You know what? We are going to advance around some of the message. I'm not what I said. I'm for you to come from there for the second time. Let me tell you something. I don't we did it. And obviously, when we have a good team already, things are moving. This year, the guys are one for the rest of it. We are going to do something different now. Most of the people in the network of Ayawaso Center expect from you as their leader. You are going to find somebody who is special. Somebody who is excellent. Somebody who is going to take a place. We're going to just together with them. You know what? We are going to advance around some of the message. I'm not what I said. So I'm for you to come from there for the second time.
That's what you saw on the screen. Was the member of parliament elect for the people of Iowa Central constituency. And we have that of Sekondi constituency, actually when the counting process and the happenings, they really happen to, that one to come to your screen shortly. The happenings in Sekondi constituency to come to your screen shortly. But you see, there's one thing I might say, also that happened in Western region, though we don't have it on our screen, but in Western region, there's another seat that has been snatched from the New Patriotic Party. That is the constituency. Yeah, so that's, as you can see, this was what happened actually in Sekondi constituency.
Okay.
Yes, on
Again, we have Ama Yamike. At the end of the poll, parliamentary, NPP had 11,084. 11,084. NDC had 14,558. 14,558. Total valid votes 25,642. Rejected 176. 176. Total vote cast 25,818. Yes. By the power invested in me as the returning officer of the Sekondi constituency, Mr. Ama Yamike has been elected as the member of parliament for the Sekondi constituency. I would like to thank the whole citizens of Sekondi and my party members and those that are not part of my party and then joined us and campaigned for us to win. I would like to thank all of them. One thing I want to tell the Sekondi people is that this win is for all of us. It is not for NDC, it is not for any particular person, but for Sekondi. And we are going to rebuild Sekondi together. We are going to reset Sekondi together. We are going to uplift Sekondi together. Thank you all. They really support me. As at 4 a.m. based on I started my deployment to the security team because we are anticipating that the people like Daniel and Co. over about attack police stations. Allegation. Attacks and so they deploy we catch the MP show pressure. We break them off. The attacks and at the end of the day we are able to effect arrest. Daniel, as I'm talking with you, or custody. CCR, you know, so don't can't say. The better Sekondi constituency for us. The thanks to all the citizens of Sekondi. Actually, I am a job because 28 good years of MPP really Sekondi, and the youth have stood on their feet and kick them away. We are so happy. That means we want change, and we will fight for change. I don't have words for it. I'm very, very excited because it's been 28 years in counting, and I'm just overwhelmed. I'm so excited for the amount of work has been put into it. You know, we have very limited resources. By the grace of God, one of the main is Sekondi, very historic. It has never happened in a very long time. And look at the margins. We always use Sekondi. We were worried, but I think that I want to.
All right, so my brother, this is Sekondi, right?
Yes, this is Sekondi in the Western region. In fact, for Sekondi, we're from the Sekondi.
Yes.
Yes. Damna henta kwado for yaka Sekondi. Yes, it's Sekondi.
Okay.
In Sekondi, there was one unique thing I just want to say about Sekondi. Obi be fan no konfase.
Okay.
Na I want to say iduwa, especially bro no ahoya the warrior. So that is Sekondi for you, Sekondi constituency. As they said, it has been over 20 years and NPP has ruled that constituency. But this time around, they decided to give it to a different person or different political party to handle. So that is why we saw that very change. So I was saying something also still about Western region. Of the fact that there was another seat that has been snatched from the new political party, that is the Shama constituency.
Shama constituency. Okay.
Yes, so that seat actually, the member of parliament lost his primaries to the bank manager of Lower Prague Bank.
Okay.
Yes, that is in the person of Mr. Afo.
Okay.
He has been one businessman in the Shama constituency with a lot of branches of the bank.
Okay.
So, and he contested with another woman known as Honorable Emilia Atta.
Okay.
And Honorable Emilia Atta has been in the political landscape for quite long.
Okay. She
has been a regional minister before, during NDC government way back, and she has a lot of influence in Shama constituency. She comes from Shama. Inti Shama for we was in there. Shama for a Samafo. Inti Washimna also the word Aban wasn't because I think doesn't a woman. Honorable Angelina, the ticket of MPP, but this time around is given to the another woman known as Honorable Emilia Atta. We'll get to that result also shortly. Okay, before we actually get into the another results, let me say this. I mean, this results also coming from the Doma East constituency. Okay. Doma East constituency. You know, Doma East constituency is a constituency that is well dominated by the NPPs. They have held this onto this constituency for a very long time. Okay. For many years, about 24 years. I mean, it's been with the NPP. And in fact, it's actually the MP for the area currently is Honorable Paul Aprekuchum Berima. Paul Aprekuchum Berima, who is actually, I mean, a very vibrant young man. I mean, he's been in the system for this is his second term, and I mean that he was actually going for. And Paul Aprekuchum Berima has lost the election for the first time in the Doma East constituency. Doma East constituency to one woman, that is Rahel, Madam Rahel Owusua. Rahel Owusua, a woman. To that is Doma East constituency. Okay. NPP has held this constituency for how many years? 24 good years. Wow. And for the first time. That is in the Bono region. Wow. So and yes. Back 1996. Yes. Wow. Yes. NPP has held this. I mean, I personally actually know the how do I call it? The current MP, member of Parliament, Aprekuchum Berima. He actually is my friend. That's the issue that I think member of Parliament need to take note of. That yes. If you sit, I don't know, has he been on it since 1996? No, I mean for this time, he has. I think there's a second term. Yes, term. So you see, second term. The whole issue here is 2024 is trying to tell us something. That's the issue that this region or this constituency is NDC stronghold, NPP stronghold. It's changing. Yeah. It's changing. So it is trying to communicate a new political dynamics that Ghanaians are yet to play. Yes. And this political dynamics, some years to come, it will give way to this new political parties who are emerging. Possibly. Because a time is coming that people will end up not putting their trust in the two major political parties, that is the NPP and the NDC. Yes. So if these two people are not the right alternative for us, then whom would they go in for? Yeah. The independent candidate. That's true. That is the reason why even in some constituencies, they are voting for independent candidates. Yes. That is true. You can even see, I think Cheddar actually did some way well done. Even some people were actually expecting to do better. And even for the first time, having some independent candidates in the central region also tells, exactly. I mean, a whole lot of story. The one aspect of the news we see is that the Honorable Minister for that is employment. No, employment and labor relations. Actually, he won. Yeah, he won. He won. I heard he lost his seat. Oh, really? And that is what I heard. I don't know. Wow. I mean, I think that's a provisional. That's a provisional result. Yes, I mean, to 1 Millicent, who has contested about 2 or 3 times. A young woman. I actually know both of them as well. Oh, and that is Honorable Minister for Employment, Ignatius. So, NDC, that is a woman. Yes, of course. Wow. Ignatius. That is Sunyani West constituency. That is what I'm hearing. Okay. But then we are here to confirm, and then we'll actually give you the accurate figure. by the close of the day, we will confirm.
Of course, I mean by afternoon we should be able to even give you enough
we'll
data.
Give them the regional
of course, and the regional breakdown as
exactly,
well. I mean, so stick to Clock TV.
Exactly.
So yeah, what do you have next for us?
So the next one I have here is the Brekum East constituency.
Yes.
Brekum East constituency, and NPP managed to get a vote of 14,356.
Yes,
14,356.
Yeah.
And NDC had 23,476.
Yeah.
23,476. And NDC is having this seat, that is Brekum East constituency.
Wow.
Yes. NDC is currently having the seat of Brekum East constituency. So these are the little today. These are the few things we have. That's Adanse Asokwa constituency. I think that one we talked about it earlier.
Yes.
Adanse Asokwa constituency. That is the constituency of Honorable KT Hammond.
Yes.
So these are the parliamentary provisional results we have from Clock TV Research Desk to viewers. And we'll bring you more on presidential just after this very section.
Okay. So in other aspects too, I actually heard that in the voter region, the Hohoi constituency.
Yes, Hohoi constituency is surprising, but very enough, they said they are yet to give other additional polling station to be confirmed.
Yes.
But if it turns out that what we are hearing is true, then surprisingly, Honorable Peter Amewu is going to actually lose that seat.
I mean, currently the results that we have seen, I have personally seen, it tells that Honorable Peter Amewu will not be the MP for the very constituency so far. But, you know, I mean, he done really a good job for the constituency too.
Really good job. So people are having confidence that that seat will be NPP seat.
Yes. Even I was actually surprised when I saw the numbers. But then my question is that, I mean, we all have, seen so many projects initiated by the Honorable Minister, that is the MP for the area. Exactly. I mean, he has done so many projects, and that I have probably engaged certain people, and they've told me. And from both some few independent people within the constituency, they made me know that, I mean, he has helped so many people in terms of educational scholarship, in terms of, job and employment and all that. So what could be the reason?
You see, the whole issue is sometimes you shouldn't sit down or assume that what you are doing is what your people want.
Yes.
Sometimes you might have your own plan.
Yes.
That's, in my plan, I want to do borehole for my people.
Yeah.
Or I want to give them light. But maybe that is not what they really want.
So that's the needs assessment that is actually another problem we are having with this, successive government.
Exactly.
You realize that politicians will go and then, will in their own, ways go and then dig whatever it is. But then when you don't do need assessment, there are places you even do projects which would not be in use. And these projects are actually scattered across the whole country.
That's very true.
So it's not as if you are not building your constituency. You are giving them projects, but is it their need? That is another question we should look at.
Exactly.
Well, most projects has been halted. And when you go to the Doma East, there are a lot of projects that they have done, but some were not used by the people. When you go to other regions, a lot of regions that I know, there are projects that the people are not using it. So the needs assessments are supposed to be looked at. So, that is it. It means the people are not in touch with the MPs, and the MPs are not so much in touch with the needs of the real needs of the people. Yeah.
But so it's really amazing of hearing such instances. So what we want to tell politicians that moving forward, get acquainted with your constituents, get to know what they want, and give them what actually they want. Because moving forward, if you think what you are giving them is what they want, then maybe you are deceiving yourself. So the best thing is you get to them and get to know what they want, and immediately you give them what they want. Trust me, on the day of election or the period of election, you'll not end up wasting a lot. That's what we see, and that is what is really deceiving politicians, thinking that in the period of election you give your constituents rice, doing borehole for them, giving them lights, just a month to election, just 2 months to election. And my own constituency, where I live in Accra, Renov, about a month to election. Now you could see them doing the road, putting on stones, gravels, and sand, and even at night, you hear the trucks working, and I ask myself that, are you doing this because of election?
And where have you been all this while?
Where have you been all? And I'm getting the news that the seat actually has been snatched by the other political party.
Yeah.
But I'm here to confirm if it's true.
Okay.
So if it is true, then they should tell politicians that Ghanaians have wisened up.
Yes, yeah.
Ghanaians have wisened up, and they shouldn't think that doing a project in a very sharp means might change the perception of people.
That is true.
Not at all.
Yes, especially with the age of education, where people are well educated. In fact, you actually know that the media is also playing so much role, a big role in that informal education of the population, where there are a lot of programs educating people about their rights and their responsibilities. So if you want to do something for the people, do not wait for the minute for you to now go to them. But then, let me say you are watching Clock TV. I mean, that is Pool Watch on Clock TV. We are bringing you insights on the elections and all analysis that are needed for you to be well informed and then well understand all the happenings in all the 16 regions across the country and all parliamentary. That's the 275 or 76
yes.
Constituencies. We are having our reporters all across, and then we will be picking. I know their messages, message lines are also open. You can send in your messages, and then you can join the conversation. I mean, give us a few minutes. We'll come back after the break.
Time is here, get ready to toss it.